If we think about perceptions and attributions that are out there are lots of perceptions that are floating out there all the time. So if you look at these perceptions, pick 2 in green in your head that you think people would describe you as. Would people describe you as trustworthy, intelligent, ambitious, perceptive? Think about your organizations that you belong to. What are some positive ways that they would describe your organization? This is a really imaginative organization. This is an organization that's very committed. Okay, what about on the negative side, on the red? How might people describe you? Would they say, oh, this person's really argumentative or temperamental? Okay, not any of you, but what are the sort of negative ways that people would describe you or your organization? So here's what I found. I found that there are all of these positive and negative perceptions, but interestingly, they belong to certain families. That there are certain positive and negative perceptions that cluster together, okay? Such that ambition, conscientiousness, for example, are in the same family as deceptive and egotistical. That you could take an individual, and that individual might be described by some people as ambitious and conscientious. And that same individual, the same person, might be observed by others as deceptive and egotistical. And by things like just reading your LinkedIn profile or reading your biographical sketch or getting described, people will make these sort of assumptions. But what I was able to do is through a variety of different studies, I could take somebody who is being seen as deceptive and egotistical and flip it. I could manipulate certain characteristics of the situation. And I don't mean manipulate in a negative way, but I could alter certain signals or alter certain cues such that someone who is being seen as deceptive and egotistical could be flipped and now seen as ambitious and conscientious. The reverse could also happen. But importantly, I could take these negative manifestations, these negative perceptions, and flip it so that people were seen as those positive manifestations. Okay, so how does this work? Remember how I told you that my mother was getting turned down for promotion after promotion after promotion? Well, what I wanted to investigate was when we see these sort of things happen, what is actually going on? And what I found was that instead of communication, for example, there were always underlying perceptions that people were drawing about these individuals. That they were saying things like, this person doesn't have initiative, or this person is not as creative, or this person's not as good at planning and out-of-the-box thinking. And so I could take these individuals, and the next time they went in to interview for a job, for example, I could say to them, the perception they have about you is that you're not as creative and out-of-the-box thinking. Or the perception they have about you is that you don't take initiative. And the next time they went in, they would be asked questions that we typically get asked during interviews. Things like, give me an example of a time when you felt like, or if I were your manager and asked you, what would you do? And I heard these individuals saying things like, I'm a strong advocate for my team. Or I have a track record of listening to clients. Or I won't rest until I bring the resources for this project. That they were giving examples of times when they took initiative. Or examples of times when they were creative and out-of-the-box thinking. They were addressing those negative perceptions and giving positive manifestations, positive examples of times when they were able to accomplish things. And not only were they more likely to get the job, the raise, the promotion, the funding for their ventures, they were rated higher in terms of things like initiative, planning, creativity. The most amazing thing of all is that they were also rated much higher in terms of things like communication, competence, things that they didn't mention at all. What I found was that individuals, if they found a way to take those negative perceptions and flip them to the positive perceptions, they were able to gain an edge in these situations.